guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be learning how to draft the basic bodice with straight darts and side darts. Okay, so now to achieve this we need the vertical measurement, we will need the horizontal measurement, and we need the armhole, we need the shoulder, and we need the bust span. Okay, the bust span. Okay, remember that if you don't know how to calculate your armhole, you will need to do bust divided by 6, okay, plus 1.5. That's if it's not going to have a sleeve, but if it's going to have sleeve, you will need to do bust divided by 6 plus 2 inches. Okay, the next thing we will need to do little calculation on is the bust span. That's nipple to nipple. So to get your nipple to nipple, assuming you did not measure the person, you do bust divided by 4 minus 2 inches. Okay, so in the case of this class, we are going to be using bust 39. Okay, shoulder 15, under bust shoulder 15, front half length 16.5, then back half length 15 inches. Okay, so these are the measurements that we are going to be working with. We'll first mark the baseline. The baseline is where our measurement starts from. Okay, so this is the baseline, and then we'll now move over to vertical measurement. The vertical measurement, which is shoulder to nipple 10.5, shoulder to under bust 13.5, shoulder to half length 16.5, and of course the blouse length is 25 inches. So I'll just get a line, I'll mark it. Remember that it is assumed that I folded this fabric into 2, but when you are cutting the front of a dress, you fold into 2. Okay, so to get our armhole, remember the formula that I've already given, which is 39 divided by 6 plus 1.5, because we're going to work without the sleeve this time around. So but before we get to the armhole, let's first of all get the shoulder. So the shoulder measurement is 15 inches, that is 7.5. Okay, and the armhole, when we do 39 divided by 4 plus 1.5, we're going to have 8 inches. So what do? We use our line. First, if you're a beginner, you connect a straight line here. Connect. So remember that this, where this armhole started, is the chest line. Okay, the chest line. So you will now use your ruler to do the needful, to connect it the right way. Okay, we use our ruler to connect it the right way. Okay, so after connecting it, the next thing you are going to do is to measure the neckline. Our neckline is 3 inches by 3 inches because it's a round high neck. So measure 3 inches by 3 inches. You use your French curve ruler to connect it as well. Okay, then remember that we will come down here by 1 inch because our shoulder is not even. Always remember that, so that you don't have gap when you finish sewing. So you come down by 1 inch, right? So the next thing to do now, remember we are drafting with the straight dart. So So where you get your stretch dart is from the bust line and the waistline, which is our 16.5. okay, the last line. This is a chest line, this is a bust line, the chest line, this is the bust line, this is the waist, the under bust line, this is the waistline. Okay, waistline, if you don't call it waistline, you call it the half length. Okay, so what are you going to do now? When we come to the half length, we will measure the bust span. The bust span is your nipple to nipple. In this case now, when you use that calculation I gave, which is bust divided by 4 minus 2 inches, we are going to have 7.7 inch. Okay, let me round it up at 8 inches. So I'll mark my 8 inches. Remember that whatever I calculated, I'm going to fold into 2, because I assume that I folded this cloth into 2. So I'm going to just mark my 4 inches down. Okay, I'm stopping at the bust line. The front that straight dart stops at the bust line. Okay, so after stopping, I'm going to just draw my line straight and connect it down to the base of the blouse. Okay, I'm just going to stop where the blouse stops. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to give because this is a darting system. Remember, I've already made a video on different types of darts, so you can check out the video, and so that you will be conversant with the different darts that we have and when to use them. All right, the next thing I'm going to do now, if the person I'm sewing for is busty, if she has bust, I can get the gap here, I can make it up to 2 inches, but I'm just going to use half an inch here. I'm just going to use half an inch here, okay, to put my darts. So remember that the darts start from the waistline. Okay, so I'll just connect. If you want the cloth to be very fitted, you can extend the dart too. Okay, I'll just connect. So that's all. So the next one I'm going to do now is, because we're also doing a side dart, I'm going to check the difference between the back half length and the front half length. Remember, the back half length is 15 and the front half length is 16.5. So the difference between the two of them, that is 16.5 minus 15, is going to give us, I think, 1.5 inch. So I will come down from the bust line by 1.5 inch to get my side dart. Okay, please take note of what I'm doing. So I'll come down from from the bust line. This is the bust line, so I'm going to come down by 1.5 inch and mark my dart. Okay, sometimes some persons can extend their own to the nipple point, but I don't like extending my own to the nipple point. Let it just be close to the nipple. Okay, so now after drawing my dart, the next one I'm going to do is to fit the cloth, as in measure the take the horizontal measurements. Now the bust line is supposed to start from here. Sorry, this is 10. I'll add my 2 inch seam allowance here. The under bust is 32, so I'll take the 32, which is 8. 32 divided by 4 is going to give me 8. Remember, I'm going to join here, so whatever I'm joining here, I'm adding it back to this place. I'm adding 1 before taking my 2 inch seam allowance. The same thing here. The waistline is 35, which is somewhere 8.5. Whatever I did here, I'm going to do it here again. So I'm adding the 1 inch I'm going to use to join here before adding my seam allowance, which is 2 inches. So I'm going to connect my line here. Okay, because this is a blouse and I'm making for a woman. So the best thing to always do when you're making something like this is to take it up by 2 inches to allow the hip to relax, the blouse to sit proper on the hip line. Taking it up by 2 inches. So that's all for the front line. You just cut out your clothes and sew. Then for the back line, we're going to take our horizontal measurement again. Before taking our horizontal measurement, we'll get the baseline. So we'll now take our horizontal measurement. Remember that armhole starts at 9, which is the chest line. I'm emphasizing on this chest line because at 8. I'm emphasizing on this chest line because that is where the back dart starts from, and the half length is 15. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, because the front and the back cloth is not always equal, so what I'm going to do here is to measure the distance from the waistline of this front to the base of the blouse, which is 9 inches. So I'll come here and do the same thing here. So I'll measure 9 inches. Okay, so this is my blouse length. You see it's not equal. Why is it not equal? It's because of the bust, the front and the back is not the same thing. It's because of the bust. Okay, so I'll just take the armhole now. The armhole. Before taking the armhole, we'll take the shoulder and neckline measurement. The neckline is 3 by 1.5. Remember, I have also made a video on this. In case you're finding it difficult calculating your neckline, you can consult our video. So, and we have 7.5 inch again. So it is slope it down. Okay, we already have about 8 inches here, so the next thing to do is just to connect it from where it stopped. Okay, we'll connect it right to get the dart line for the back here. We're just going to do, remember that we are using the same thing. Mind you, I'm doing this thing without minding that there will be zip. If we are going to put zip at the back of this cloth, you attach the zip seam allowance. So we are using our bust span, which is 4. We are extending it at the chest line because this is the back of the cloth. Then after drawing, we draw a straight line. Okay, please do well to subscribe to this video if you have not done that, and share to your friends that want to learn from the scratch. Okay, so half an inch here, we'll do the same thing we did there, half an inch. If you want it to fit you more, you can extend the dart. We'll connect our line. Okay, you can see the back is shorter than the front, but by the time we finish sewing the side dart, we find out that the front and the back are still going to be the same. Remember that we came up here by 2 inches. You do same for the back so that it can sit properly well at the hip region because of the feature of our shape, our female shape. Okay, so we're going to take the actual measurement now. The same thing we did at the front. We extend it here. We add our 2 inch seam allowance. We come to the waistline, which is 35. We have 8.5. Remember that after joining here, the allowance has gone up, so we are adding back the 1 inch that we took from that place, and we put our 2 inches seam allowance. Okay, so the next thing is to connect your lines. Okay, if the person is very curvy, when you come here now, you see how curvy the person is. It should be reflecting. Alright, so you cut it out and you are done. You will have a very beautiful top. I want to encourage you to try this on your own, and let's see what the outcome looks like.